Whenever you attack someone on social media, a politician gets his wings or his horns or like bukkake, whatever it is he's into. When you communicate with people in that like low vibrational space where you're pulling them down, a CEO gets his dildo. Oh, they are orgasming. They are jerking off to us fighting with each other. Let's do a little social experiment. I'm going to say my opinions on Gaza, and you may or may not agree with me. However, let's see if we could have a civilized conversation that is emotionally mature about these thoughts in this thread. Can we do it? I need 2 emotional support animals for this one. Because I care about what's going on in Palestine and Gaza, because I am concerned and I want to do everything I can to be of service to those people that are suffering, that means that I have to take the time to understand why it's happening. And part of understanding why it's happening is trying to understand what's going on for the people that are a part of what's happening. And like it or not, that means I have to elicit empathy, I have to elicit compassion, I have to elicit curiosity, I have to have all of these things. I have to see the humanity in the people that are doing things that I don't agree with. Nothing is going to change by just barking at each other, shaming and guilting each other, not having the wherewithal to be like, why does this person think differently than me? What can I do to have connection with them in order to progress this conversation so it's not just the same rhetoric like, and we've heard it. Okay, I keep asking myself, why now? Why is this happening now? And I do have to say, if we're going to be looking at the theater of politics, we have to ask ourselves, there is some really interesting timing that's going on right now, because Israel and Palestine have been in conflict, obviously, for decades and decades and decades. Why is it exacerbated now? Why is the magnifying glass there now? And I do believe it's because of fear. There is a genuine fear of the world changing and how fast the world is changing. And because of this, you know what people really want right now, those in power? They want to reinforce the ideologies that keep us separate and contained and mind controlled. And I think the crux of that ideology, beyond capitalism, blah, 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 I will go on about that, is borders and nationalism. So if you think about it from a representational, archetypal analysis of what's going on, we have a police state. We have a militarized Israel. We have the type of surveillance that is kind of unprecedented in Gaza right now. So if we are looking at what the powers that be want for our future, it is a reinforced police state and militarization of their agenda. I mean, I do think that makes sense. The enforced border mentality that we have and these stupid passports and citizenship, this is exactly how we are contained, controlled, the empire builds, exploited, resources hoarded. I mean, I think if you want to pick it all apart, I do believe that borders and nationalism are the boiling hot diarrhea of our massive internal digestion issues, our IBS, our global IBS. I think one of them is going to pee on me soon, but I'm going to take that risk. And you know what's kind of funny too? If like you're like a billionaire, there are still like rankings of billionaires because like, you only have $10 billion, like I have $200 billion. I mean, status exists no matter where we are. So I do think that status and hierarchy is the psychological prison that is keeping a lot of this going, because people want to maintain their sense of status because ultimately what they're insecure and they're like needing the love of mama and dada. I mean, I do think that also has to be addressed, is that the motivation behind a lot of this action is not just power. Sadly, it's acceptance. I mean, I know this is a lot for us. I think most of us are just like, I'm just trying to like get through the day. But unfortunately, a big part of getting through the days to come is really just dismantling not only capitalism, but also borders, nationality, and religious division. And that is going to take some major work, reconstruction and also perhaps a little discomfort. But you know what? If we have each other to do it, it's not going to be that bad. I mean, I actually don't think it has to be that bad. It doesn't have to be this bad thing. Why are we always like, oh, let's end capitalism like it's a bad thing? It's actually going to be a very groovy thing. So we're not the ones that have to be afraid. The ones that have to be afraid are the ones that are so attached to capitalism as if it is their, like cock ring. I don't know why I made that metaphor, but I don't even know what a cock ring does. Whatever, the cock ring of capitalism must be relieved. The actual capacity for us to self-organize in truly effective ways, and because we have maybe more power than we ever have in society, the most interesting thing is going to be how we learn to give it away. Because when we give away power, it makes power meaningless, and that is exactly where we need to be heading. So whether you agree with me or not agree with me, or you think I'm a big dum-dum, dingleberry, fart face, that's fine. But maybe you could just say that to me in a respectful way, and then you are part of the solution.